another video. So today I wanted to touch on a video that I shot about people crying on the internet. So right here, I got a little breakdown for you on what I meant by, um, you basically got to toughen up out here because I hear a lot of people talking about this lease purchase program. And, from my experience with lease purchase program, I had a little bit of different experience with them. So I could point out a few benefits because I believe that they are a second chance company that helps you out when you do need to get back on your feet. So I don't know why there's such a big pull to eliminating the lease purchase program. So let's get this started. So for one, the reason why a lot of you guys ain't making it out here in a lease purchase program because you basically got to live in your truck. They gave you the feeling of, oh, you're a lease owner, so you have the freedom to pick and choose what you want. It's true, but the results is not going to be in your favor if you take off time, because you got to understand they are taking out weekly payments. So no matter how much money you made with the company, if they're taking out weekly payments, that means when you take off for a week or two, when you're on vacation or you're doing whatever you want to do, it's not going to look good when you come back to work. And unfortunately, with the type of industry, you're dealing with dispatches that, they kind of get petty, So, and I'm going to get to the second one, good relationship with dispatch. So, what I mean by a good relationship with dispatch, I'm not meaning no hee hee ha ha relationship where y'all laughing and joking and y'all best friends. Having a good relationship with dispatch is how long you stay out on the road. So when you come off the road, your relationship when you come back is not going to be that great. You're going to be looked over because they know that you probably want the load that's in your favor. You're going to probably want to take off again, and you're going to complain about what they're trying to do for you in their program. So in order for you to have a good relationship with your dispatcher, you need to be behind that wheel, basically living in your truck and staying on the board when you're out there on the road, and taking your 34-hour reset when you like running out of hours, and it's more beneficial for you to take a 34-hour reset. And sometimes not gonna be by your house, gonna be on the road, but they want you with them. So if you could really die hard, work in the truck until your lease is paid off, you'll be in a good position with a lease purchase program. So with number three is you basically gonna have no social life. So you can't expect to come out here wanting to have best of both worlds. So this is not really good for people who have a family, who's trying to maintain friendships. Um, you really got to give your life to trucking to benefit like you want to benefit. Dispatch is not your friend, so we just talked about that. You can't. There are a lot of problems that people have. I noticed that when they are in the introductory part of the dispatching and leasing program, they believe that they got a real friend until they got to show that this is business side. Then it's a problem because you're thinking like, yo, you know everything about me. We had a good conversation. How could you, come at me sideways? Is because this is basically business. Yes, there may be a little friendship. Somebody might like you a little bit, but when it all boils down to this is all business. Um, the purpose of leasing is not to drive one truck. It's meant to put you in a position for multiple trucks. So a lot of guys come up here and they're really company drivers. So 90% of the people that complain about it, this program, is probably never meant to be owner operators. They probably was meant to be company drivers that just came over here and they having a hard time because you was meant to be a company driver. Company drivers is a person that drives one truck and one truck only. When you come over to 1099, you are now in a position to have multiple people generate income at the same time, so your rates go up by how many trucks you got out here. So it's not for you to say I make more money as a lease purchase than I do as a company driver, because if you coming out here with the mindset of just one truck, you're going to have a long career out here. So the best leasing was cents per mile and drop and hook. So a lot of people can't really deal with the percentage. It's not as easy because you got to really know how to base out your schedule your loads out like you need to. So with me, in the course of my lease purchase, I realized that getting cents per mile, because you're basically going to get paid for empties and loaded miles. So every time your wheel turn, you're going to get paid. I've seen my most money at that. So if you want to see your best interest, stop looking at the highest percentage and start going for the cents per mile, because no matter what goes up, high or low, low market areas, high market areas, it's going to be the same rate no matter what. With percentage, you got to deal with not only the deadheads that you're going to not get paid for, but if you go to these low paying states, you're going to get the low money. So it's not going to benefit you. So I benefited a lot by that. Um, the best companies is with teams that allow companies is that allow team driving. So with a clock on your hands, you're limited. But the benefits that I see and the lows that I got dealing with team driving, that's where you're going to really make lease purchasing work, because you're going to be able to keep running and you're going to be able to see a big amount of gross at the end of the year. So it's in your best interest to really get down with a program that deals with team driving if you want this to really work for you as a lease purchase program. Great for tax write-offs. So I had to learn the hard way that when you finance a truck or buy a truck, you no longer have the incentives to write off that whole truck like you do with leasing. With leasing, every payment you make every week, it is going to be a write-off on taxes, so it's going to make it a little bit easier for you. So you wind up coming to the point of either the government going to get over on you or the company. You're going to make your choice, but somebody's still going to get over. There's no escaping. Once you get off of lease purchasing, you made it out clear. Now somebody else going to be able to get over too on you, because now you got to pay for your stuff flat out now, like your license and your taxes, your heavy. So when you're dealing with lease purchase program, they break all those payments, and people be like, well, what's this type of payment and where that come from and blah blah blah. That's really all the stuff that you have to pay for, but they're breaking it down in weekly payments that people don't understand it until you come out off of leasing and become an owner operator and see how much it costs out here. It's really expensive. Um, and great for paying off licensing and fees over the course of years versus straight up, which I was just talking about. They're basically going to help you with that. They're going to break your insurance is not going to be that high, and all your payments that you have with licensing and fees are going to be cheaper because you're going to pay it, and they're going to break it down in 52 months, 52 weeks. So you're going to pay every week a portion of that to get that paid off. And I have another one up here. It's about having a fuel card and also having a maintenance account. So another good thing about leasing is, opposed to owner operator, most of the times when you put your truck on with somebody or by yourself, you have to pay for your expenses. So if you have a breakdown, there's nobody to help you out, like leasing. Now, I don't recommend going to their shops, because a lot of times they're going to change out stuff that could have ran a little bit longer, but they want to put on new stuff, and they don't want to change one tire or one shock. They want to do all of them. So it's going to raise up your maintenance bills. But when you have a company that just fronts you, if you have a Love's or you over the road and you have a breakdown, those are good ones, because like you have a big brother that'll help you out when you in the bond and you don't have it. You got somebody that will help you with that as well as fuel. So when I made this video about people crying on the internet, I just heard a lot of people making complaints about lease purchasing, but my time with lease purchasing was a little bit different. So I figured I'd shoot a video to get my perspective of what it meant for me to be in lease purchase. That's it for me for my video. Until next time, peace.